Alright, so we're here checking out your Sharky animation, and we can see, it starts off well enough, and then, right about here at frame 24 and frame 25, things start to get a little odd. You can see it kind of jumps back and starts moving backwards before then going forward again, and it's just kind of stuck in this continual loop. So we're gonna figure out what's going on with this today and fix it. Alright? So, first thing I'm going to do, because this has to do with the forward motion of Sharky, we know we want to grab our main control and take a look at that, because this control is what we're using to control that forward motion. Alright? So, here's as soon as we grab that, we can see all these little keys that we've put in here, okay, on our main control for different things. Some of this is rotation information. Some of it is going to be your translation information as well. So one thing you might notice here, if you are looking down in this area, is the fact that we've got the first frame listed here as -8. Okay. So that's a little unusual. Normally our first frame is going to be frame 1. I mean, these are just numbers, and really, technically, your animation could start on frame -432 and end on -327. Maya doesn't really care which frame you're using. But, generally, we just start on 1 because it's easy. So that's kind of an indication that, alright, maybe something's going on there. I have this backed up all the way to frame -8. So, this little time slider here, you can grab it and slide it along. Alright, so we can actually back this up and see, here's another keyframe here at -8. Alright, and you can see what's happening. The animation is beginning at -8. So it's starting right here. It's backing up to this keyframe at 1. And then it's coming forward. And it's repeating. Okay, just keeps on doing that. So, to fix this, let's look at this in the graph editor. Okay, so we'll come to Window, Animation Editors, Graph Editor. And now we can kind of see what's going on. So if we come to frame 1, which is where we, actually want our animation to start, we can see this red line indicating it right here. Okay, when we have it selected in our time slider here, we can see it right there. Okay, here's frame 1. All this stuff that's going on before frame 1 is not stuff that we necessarily want. We want our animation to start on frame 1. So let's get rid of all this extra stuff that's happening over here on frame -8. Okay, so to do that, we just grab this, and we can go ahead and delete it with the delete key. Okay, for me it was just Command X on a Mac. For a PC, I believe it's Control X, just to delete it. Okay. So we no longer have this key on frame -8. So, we don't really need to look all the way back to frame -8 anymore. Okay. So we can move this forward, and we can also change this to 1. So now, our time slider is going to start on -1, and now we're not likely to go back in time anymore and accidentally add frames before frame 1, okay? So it's simplified things a lot already. Now, the only information that we have coming in to our main control right now is translate X and rotate Y information, okay? So, because we're dealing with the forward motion of Sharky, that's going to be translate X that we want to deal with. So I've just clicked on it here to isolate it so that we're not really worried about rotate Y right now. Okay, just dealing with translate X. So once we got rid of those, let's kind of see what's happening now. Okay, So, you know, it stopped going backwards, but it does keep starting over where it was before. Alright? And that's just not what we want. What we can do, and actually before we make this an infinite loop, you know, we might not want Sharky to kind of do this curved line thing. Basically what this means is wherever the line is mostly flat, Sharky is going to be going pretty slowly, okay? And where the line is curving at more of a diagonal slope, Sharky's going to be picking up speed. So basically what we have here is slow, fast, slow, and then if it continues on, it'll keep doing that. So fast, slow, fast, slow, fast. So it'll look a little bit funny if we leave it like that, because Sharky's just going to be going whoop, and then whoop, and then whoop. You know, just constantly changing speed. So we might want something a little more constant than that. For this, you know, I'm going to make it completely constant. So rather than changing speed all the time, I'm going to keep Sharky going at one constant speed. And to do that, I can just grab these. So I just marquee selected those in my graph editor, okay? And I can change this to what's called a linear tangent. Alright, so once I do that, we've got this nice straight line. So, you know, as long as there's no curving occurring, this means that Sharky is traveling at a constant rate of speed, okay? So, that's going to help out our animation a little bit. You know, and probably Sharky, you know, will slightly slow down and speed up at different moments depending on how Sharky's fins are moving. You know, but for an animation like this, we're not going to deal with it on that level of detail. So, okay, now that we've got this all set up the way we want it, you know, the problem now is, okay, well, how do we get it to continue in an infinite loop instead of just starting over and over again? And to do that, we just grab this, okay, grab that tangent there. And the one that we want is this one right here, okay? Post-infinity cycle with offset. So what this means is basically it's going to take this, all right? And anything from this point in time where this begins onwards out to infinity, it's going to continue to do this. But it's going to start the next instance of this line right here where the last one left off, okay? So it's gonna start up here, come down, and then it's gonna make this exact same shape, okay, which is in this case just a line, using the exact same timing, but this time the start point is gonna be right here. It'll keep doing that on into infinity. Just to show you kind of the difference between the other little options that we have here, this one would do basically the same thing except in the opposite direction. Alright, so it would come out backwards in time. Okay, so, you know, anything before this, it would, you know, continue along this line. And then we've got this little guy here. What this does is basically what's happening right now, okay? So this is post-infinity cycle, but this does not have the offset. The offset is really important in this case. So if you just have post-infinity cycle, it's going to take this tangent, and when it gets to here, it's going to take this exact same tangent, all right? And it's going to repeat it, but this time, instead of starting it down here where the last one left off, it's going to start it at exactly the same place that it started before, okay? So what's going to happen is Sharky's going to be moving along, moving along, moving along. It's going to get to here, then it's going to jump back up to where it was before and repeat that same motion. So you get this. So this is exactly what we're seeing here. He's moving along, then he's jumping back to where he started and doing that forever, okay? So we want him to, of course, instead move along and then continue moving along at the same speed that we've set for him. So we'll just grab this. Make sure you click on this button here, Post Infinity Cycle with Offset. And once you do that, you should see these dotted lines. So this is indicating, pretty much nothing going on, no change happening before. And then afterwards, here it goes, here's our animation. Afterwards, it will continue and repeat itself, but it will offset itself each time, all right? So let's try it now. There goes Sharky. And, he's gonna just keep going off into the sunset, all the way to infinity. Just keep on happening, just like that, all right? So that's it for fixing that animation issue. Let me know if you have any questions about anything that we went over today. Thanks for watching, and happy animating.